You and I were never created to shrink, nor were we created to settle. We were created to rise and shine. Hey, friend, welcome to the very first episode of Amazing by Design. I am genuinely honored you're here. If you found your way to this space, chances are you felt it too. You know, that quiet nudge inside, a whisper that says, your story isn't over. Oh, it's not loud or dramatic, but it's persistent, almost like God's gently tapping you on the shoulder. He's been trying to get your attention. Can you feel it? That sacred whisper saying, hey, I've got more for you. Bigger things, deeper purpose. It's that inner knowing that you weren't made to just go through the motions. And now something inside you is stirring. It's calling you towards something that fits you better, stretches you. You might not see the full path yet, but you can certainly feel it. It's like your heart already knows the way, even though your head hasn't caught up. This is the exact thing that fuels Amazing by Design. In this place, faith meets real life, and where struggles actually turn into strategies. So go grab your coffee, or if you're like me, your tea. Let's settle in and let's talk. Honestly, I've been in that place too, where we feel stuck, weighed down by all the expectations that life throws at us, trying to keep up and be perfect, yet feeling like I was always falling short. Quite frankly, it's exhausting and it's frustrating. And another layer to all that frustration is, as a follower of Jesus, my heart deeply wanted to honor God, to live purposely with deep faith. But day after day, life just seemed to get in the way. Cultural norms got in the way. And being real, my own fear kept getting in the way. Maybe you felt that too. But here's what I've come to understand. God hasn't designed us to live in constant overwhelm, self-doubt, and exhaustion. He created us with intention and purpose, with a calling that's uniquely ours. When we embrace that truth, everything can shift for us. That's actually the heartbeat of this podcast. Amazing by Design is about real life, the messy, the beautiful, the faith-filled journey of becoming who we were always created to be. I want to take a minute and share a little of the backstory, the passion behind this vision, and why it matters so much to me. So let me take you behind the scenes for just a moment, into the heart of my passion and why I'm inviting you to be part of this vision. Years ago, I had a conversation with my pastor that I'll never forget. He looked at me and he said, Lucianne, you were put on this earth for a purpose, and it's your responsibility to uncover that purpose. That statement hit me deep. It hit me hard. It stirred something in my soul, and I've been on a journey of discovery ever since. It was in that process that God began to show me something very powerful. This is what I learned. It was impossible for me to fully walk in my purpose until I became the woman He created me to be. That revelation changed everything for me. It shifted how I saw myself and how I moved through life on an everyday basis and how I showed up in faith. And so the journey of my becoming began. And this is what happened. I stopped. I paused. I actually started asking myself the hard questions. And it was these hard questions that stirred something deeper within me. I wanted to know what made me unique. What was it that ignites passion in my soul? These weren't just passing thoughts. They became my prayers. It was in these quiet moments with God where I struggled and I wrestled and I asked, all the questions. Then I listened and I leaned in. I wanted to know what his perspective was, because certainly my perspective wasn't working. I want you to take a moment right now and look at your hand. Did you know that no one else on this planet has your exact fingerprint? I know it's not exactly breaking news from heaven, but it is a powerful reminder you were designed with intentionality. No one else could be you, and you were never meant to be anyone else. You are enough. God created you with every single thing you need to become the woman He's designed for you to be. As women, we often fall into this horrible trap of comparison. That in itself is a conversation for another episode. However, for me, everything shifted the moment I stopped looking sideways. What I mean by that is I stopped looking at other people. I stopped embracing their expectations of who I should be and what I should be doing, and their timelines for me to get there. Instead, I started looking upward. It's in that moment when I decided to take ownership of my own life and I fixed my eyes on Jesus. That's when things began to move in ways I never imagined. And here's the beautiful truth: God doesn't play favorites. What He did in me, He will absolutely do in you if you are willing to invite Him into the process. This is why Amazing by Design was born, because I finally uncovered the thing that sets my soul on fire, the burden that I can't shake, actually, the calling I can't ignore. No matter how I tried to push it aside, it just keeps rising up. I'm constantly being reminded that this is what I was made for. God's divine purpose for my life is to walk alongside women just like you and empower them to step boldly into the fullness of who God created them to be, not who the world says they should be. Amazing by Design, this podcast is a safe place for real, authentic conversations, the kind we as women crave, the kind that go deeper than Sunday small talk, the kind that speaks to our hearts, expresses our struggles, and celebrates our victories. Personally, I want more, and something tells me you do too. This is the place where we get honest, where we lay down all the masks that we often wear every day. We talk about what's really going on, and we lean into biblical strategies that help us move forward rather than things that hold us back. And we move forward with grace, with strength, and with intentionality. Let me ask you this, and if you're one of my coaching clients listening in, you already know I love asking questions. So here we go. What does it actually look like to live as if we were designed by God Himself? I know that sounds beautiful in theory, doesn't it? But in reality, most of us are juggling so many roles and responsibilities, and we're being pulled in so many different directions that it's actually hard to live intentionally when you're just trying to keep your head above water. In my own journey of discovery, I uncovered 3 principles that grounded me in the truth of my God-given greatness. And I want to share them with you today. It's not complicated. Number 1, living in God's design starts with identity. Secondly, it requires clarity. Lastly, it calls for courage. Let me take a moment and break that down. Identity is all about anchoring yourself in who God says you are, not the mold the world tries to fit you into. And we all know what that feels like. It actually doesn't feel good at all. It's not about the titles that we have, the achievements, or appearances. It's about being rooted in truth. Clarity comes when we stop chasing everything and focus on what actually matters. I want you to just take a moment and let that settle in. How much of your energy is spent on things that hold you back instead of propelling you forward into the highest, most powerful version of yourself? I'll be honest with you, my list was long. Blame, excuses, unforgiveness, bitterness, shame, guilt. That's just naming a few. But here in this space, we're here for real talk. As Christian women, pretending that we don't wrestle with these things doesn't serve our growth. It only delays it. And lastly, courage, because fear will fight you every step of the way. Don't think that fear didn't show up when I started this podcast. Oh, it did. And it was loud and it was persistent. But here's what I've learned and what I teach my clients all the time. It's okay to step out in faith and let fear come along for the ride. It just doesn't get to sit in the driver's seat. That seat is reserved for God alone. So here's your practical takeaway for today. Ask yourself this: in what ways am I letting the world define me instead of God? Write it down. Sit with it. Pray over it. Because stepping into the fullness of who God created you to be begins with honesty. Honesty about what you've allowed to shape your thoughts, your choices, and your identity. Here's the truth. You get to decide what has access to your heart and your mind. You get to choose what stays and what goes. You get to draw the line between the worldly noise and divine truth. That's the power of living intentionally. That's the beginning of transformation. My heart beats for breakthrough, the kind that doesn't just spark a change for the moment, but rather sustains transformation. I can hear the gentle whisper from God. Can you hear it? He's telling us we were designed to walk in freedom, not just spiritually, but emotionally and practically. We are worthy because we belong to Him. Our voice matters because He has given us something to say. We were created to live with clarity of truth, to stand boldly in our God-given identity, and to move in that identity unapologetically with divine authority. You and I were never created to shrink, nor were we created to settle. We were created to rise and shine. Collectively, we've been commissioned to live in the fullness of who God designed us to be, not just for ourselves, but for the lives that you and I are called to impact. Our families, our communities, our workplaces, even our churches need us to show up in the fullness of who God created us to be. The world needs us to show up in our everyday lives with all of our God-crafted awesomeness. Yes, you are awesome. So let me tell you what's waiting on the other side of your breakthrough. Peace that's anchored in God. Joy that the world cannot replicate. Confidence that radiates even when the world feels chaotic. Can you feel it? Now is the time to rewrite the narrative you've been telling yourself about your worth. It's time for you to shine. And you don't have to do it alone. Amazing by Design isn't just a podcast. It's a movement, a sanctuary, a springboard into the life God dreamed for you. So here's your invitation. Hit follow, subscribe, like, leave a rating and a review, because your voice helps other women find the hope and support they've been longing for. Be sure to check the show notes for resources to guide you along your journey, including a link to my book, and there's also a link for a free call with me. Let's connect, let's build, Let's rise together. I'll chat with you again next week. Until then, make it a great one. You, my friend, are chosen. You are loved. You are amazing by design.